good, sir. Thanks for coming. As part of your investigation, did anyone tell you or you learn any evidence that any of the street signs, the speed limit, the pedestrian crossing, pedestrians being there, any of that, did anyone tell you or did you uncover any evidence that they were obscured or improperly marked or not visible to oncoming traffic?
No.
Taking everything in your investigation together, the EDR data, the damage to Ms. Grossman's vehicle, the injuries to the boys, all the witness statement, what was your ultimate opinion as to what caused the death of Mark and Jacob Iskander?
That Mrs. Grossman was traveling at unsafe speed.
Did you, as part of your investigation, come to the conclusion that Ms. Grossman was the driver of the white Mercedes-Benz with the damage at the scene as one that struck the boys?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. I don't have any more questions.
Good morning, Detective.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
I think you told us yesterday that you did not respond to the scene of the accident on the day of the accident. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you also had nothing to do with anything that went on that evening, that night, correct?
That is correct.
You took over the investigation from Detective Hilson, is that correct?
Yes.
But that didn't occur until about 3 days after the accident, is that right?
About 3 days, correct.
Okay. And so it wasn't until at least 3 days after the accident that you began looking for video, is that correct?
I believe so.
So prior to you taking over, nobody had gone around and tried to get the videos, is that
No
correct?
foundation.
Sustained.
Do you know whether or not anyone did try to find the videos prior to you coming on 3 days after the accident?
I am not aware of that. I wasn't speaking to my partner. I was doing my own investigations that I had at the time. So whether he was looking or actively looking at that time, that'd be a question for him.
And so would you agree that it would be a best practice to try to get the video as close in time to the accident as possible?
In my opinion, yes. I would try to do that, just depending.
And then when you did find video that you explained to us yesterday, you were not able to download the video, correct?
From the two sources?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. So the video that we have seen that has been provided in your investigation was a video off of your phone taping the video that was at the locations, correct?
It was a video off of a phone. It wasn't my personal phone.
Okay. And is it true that you never asked the people who owned the videos to preserve them for later?
I don't recall.
Okay. Did anyone ever give you instruction that you should go and ask those videos to be preserved?
Nobody gave me instruction.
Yes.
It was my investigation after the fact, so whether or not I asked them to preserve any type of video, I don't recall if I asked them to do that. It would be my standard practice to do that, so I may have asked them that.
Okay. But at the end of the day, the videos were not preserved, is that correct?
That is correct.
So let's look at, we saw some of these videos yesterday. I'd like to put up Exhibit 5 with the court's permission, which is the boathouse surveillance video, I believe. All right, so Now, you recall when you first saw this video that there were more cars on this video than just Mr. Erickson's and Ms. Grossman's vehicle, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did you ever make any effort to find out who was the driver of those other cars or where those people would have gone?
Make an effort?
Yes.
Yeah, I made an effort.
To locate the other drivers of the other vehicles?
Yes.
Okay. Did you report on that? Was that something that you put in your report?
No.
Okay. Is that because you were not able to find out who those drivers were?
Correct.
What was the effort that you made to try to find out who those other cars belonged to?
The other witnesses that were there, the video to see if I can zoom in on something to get a license plate to those vehicles, and I was just unsuccessful at doing that.
And when you say the witnesses that were there, you're talking about the witnesses that were there on the night of the accident, correct?
Correct.
So did you go back and talk to those, because you weren't there that night, right?
Right.
Did you go back and talk to those witnesses to ask them if they knew who those other cars were?
I personally know it was based off the other deputies who were there and had talked to those witnesses.
And the drivers of those vehicles were never determined, correct?
Correct.
Now, let's just go back and put that up again, just maybe a little bit slower. This is still Exhibit 5. Do you recall, while that's coming up, do you recall how many additional vehicles, and on Exhibit 5, just to refresh, we're talking about the boathouse surveillance video. Do you remember how many cars had passed through that video that you the snippet there?
Total throughout the entire video?
Yes.
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. I'd have to review the video.
It was several cars though, correct?
Correct.
And did you notice that each of those cars that passed through that video screen on the snippet that we have of that recording were each in the frame for about 3 seconds?
That's hard to say, but roughly anywhere between 2 to 4 seconds,
Okay.
depending on their speed.
So you also had a video that you located from the Golden Leaf surveillance. Golden Leaf, you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. I think council asked you if it was 3650 Golden Leaf, you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And there were several vehicles on that video as well, correct?
Correct.
And maybe we can put that up. I believe it's 6. Is it 6? And you recall seeing that there were 4 vehicles that came through that snippet of the video that we have?
I counted 4.
Yes. And of the vehicles that came through, there was a white car that came through before Mr. Erickson's car. Did you see that?
It was light colored.
It was a light-colored car? Okay. And did you ever do anything to determine who owned that white car that came through before Mr. Erickson's car?
I'm sure I attempted to.
But as you sit here now, are you able to provide any information to the jury about who was driving that white car that came through before Mr. Erickson's car?
No.
So there were some witnesses that you talked about yesterday that said that they thought that the 2 cars that they saw were racing. You recall that?
Yes.
And we saw 4 cars go through, at least 4 cars go through on the videos, correct?
Correct.
But you don't know which cars the people who said they saw racing, we don't know which cars they were referring to. Isn't that true?
In the videos?
Yeah.
Rephrase that.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, you recall that, you know who Miss Manners is?
Yes.
Do you recall that she talked about a pack of 5 cars racing?
I don't recall that.
Okay. Is it true that when you look at the videos, you don't know which cars the witnesses thought they saw racing? Is that a fair statement?
Looking at the videos,
Well, looking at the videos, you can make an assumption, probably, right?
just based on my experience, I can make an assumption of which 2 cars are being referred to.
And you have done that in this case, right?
Yes.
And you think it was Mr. Erickson and Mr. Grossman, correct?
Yes.
But you don't know whether the white car that was in front of Mr. Erickson's car that came through that video, you don't know if that car was a car that the witnesses thought were racing with Mr. Erickson, correct?
I know that wasn't one of the cars, just based on the speeds, the video.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at your screen.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Up for you right there.
Okay, but you don't know what the witnesses are referring to. You just know, you're making an assumption about what they were referring to. True?
Made an assumption, among other things, the evidence that I have.
Okay. And when a witness says a white car, and there's more than one white car, you can't be sure what white car they're referring to. True?
If it's just one witness, then true, that would be a true statement.
Thank you. And it's true that you never received the original videos that we were looking at, correct?
That is true.
So when you first got involved 3 days after the incident, you became aware of the black SUV in the videos, correct?
Yes.
Okay. At that point in time, you wanted to know who was driving that vehicle, true?
Yes, I wanted to know.
Okay. But you were already focused on Miss Grossman at that point, so you weren't thinking that that driver was involved, is that correct?
Oh, I didn't believe that driver was involved in hitting the children.
You just wanted to know who owned the car and who was driving the car. You thought this might be a witness, correct?
A witness or somebody involved.
And when you became involved in the case 3 days after, you did not personally have an opportunity to inspect Mr. Erickson's vehicle, correct?
I knew nothing of Mr. Erickson's vehicle at that time, or who it belonged to.
Okay. At some point, you did learn that the vehicle, the black SUV, was owned by Mr. Erickson, correct?
Correct.
And after that point in time, did you inspect Mr. Erickson's vehicle?
No.
You testified yesterday about you reviewed some of the materials that were in the case, correct?
Correct.
And one of those was Detective Hulson's supplemental report, correct?
Correct.
And that related to an interview that Detective Hulson had conducted of Mr. Erickson, correct?
Correct.
And the conclusion that I think you told us yesterday, and I don't want to misstate what you said, but something along the lines that you felt that Mr. Erickson was trying not to take responsibility, is that correct?
Referring to what?
To the accident.
Yeah.
What made you feel that way?
Just the way he was trying to avoid Detective Hulson's questions, based on his supplemental report that Detective Hulson had written.
Okay. Can you tell the jury some of those examples that come to mind?
I'd have to reread the supplemental report.
Okay. All right, I want to ask you about debris in the roadway. You're aware that, and yesterday we had Officer Mejia on the stand, and he told us about debris on the roadway that he marked. That's sort of standard procedure, right?
It can be, depending on the debris.
Okay. And one of the items that he marked it as, in the evidence log as item number 7. And if we can put up 153-2, please. Detective, do you recognize this? Have you seen this document before?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you understand this to be?
It appears to be the legend
The
of
legend?
evidence that was on the factual diagram.
Okay, all right. And we've enlarged item number 7, vehicle debris, chrome fog light cover. You see that?
Yes.
Did you ever do any investigation as to that chrome fog light cover that was found at the scene and marked as evidence?
Possible, yes.
Okay. Can you tell the jury what the outcome of that investigation was with regard to the chrome fog light cover?
That it may have belonged to Mrs. Grossman's vehicle.
Did you compare the fog light cover to Miss Grossman's vehicle yourself?
I may have.
Okay. Would it surprise you to know that Miss Grossman's vehicle did not include a chrome fog light cover?
No, never mind.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
Yeah. Would it surprise you to know that Miss Grossman's vehicle did not include a chrome fog light cover?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. And if it wasn't a chrome fog light cover from Miss Grossman's vehicle, then it must have come from another vehicle, true?
Yes, could have been
Okay.
from another vehicle.
And if there was debris at the scene from another vehicle, you would want to know more about that, right?
If I established that that chrome fog light cover came from that incident, it could have been there from some other incident a long time ago.
Okay. And the fact that Officer Mejia marked that when he was marking all of the debris that he found on the freeway, that would suggest that he, in his interpretation, believed it was part of this accident, wouldn't it?
In his interpretation,
And it would be something that should be investigated in your view, shouldn't it?
it could be.
Because if there's debris from another car, it might mean that that other car was somehow involved in the accident, true?
Not necessarily.
But it could be, right?
It could be.
And you don't know that until you do the investigation, true?
Correct.
But that wasn't done in this case, was it?
I'd have to check my reports.
Look, I'm sorry, could we pick that back up? Yeah. If we go to page 2 of exhibit, one 153-2. 152 dash? Yeah. I want to go to page 2, the next page. Thank you. I guess it would be 153-3. Do you recognize that, detective?
Yes.
What is that?
When they shoot or what they call shoot the scene, those are all the measurements from the laser scanner that is at the scene that measures kind of like distances of where things are, depending on that either evidence or the vehicle or a light pole or whatever it may be, the lanes.
So for any item that is marked at the scene, then it can be determined exactly where that item was located by looking at this legend, true?
It can be.
And so if we look at number 7, what is that telling us there that we've blown up?
Okay, so item number 7, well, if you start at item number 1, which is the zero area, that's where the laser's at. It's saying that number 7, that point, is 128.56. It can be feet or inches depending on whoever is taking that measurement. If they put it through either feet or through inches from the north and 18.045 from the east at an elevation from their 0 point of 0.113.
And so we can determine the exact location of where item number 7 was located at the scene, correct?
That's point number 7. That's not item number 7.
Point number 7.
Correct.
And
So
on-
that's not, doesn't refer to Evans' item number 7. That's just the 7th point that was taken from 0.
So if we go back to page 1, item number 7 is listed there as the chrome fog light cover, right?
Yeah, that's item number 7, as
Item-
far as evidence. That has nothing to do with the second page you just showed me.
Okay. One moment. Let's go back to page 2, again, of the same exhibit. Page 3, I'm sorry. And what page is that? Page 4? Okay, sorry, go to page 4. Okay, and if we look at page 4, item number 7 is, corresponds to item number 69, to point 69, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, so let's blow that up there. And so this would tell us the location of where that item was found?
According to that paper, yes.
Okay. Are you able to determine where that would be on the map?
I'm not, just looking at that, I'd have to see the whole breakdown of the measurements that CSA Westland did.
Okay. See if I can find that. Okay. All right. And again, you have no idea what happened to that chrome fog lamp cover, correct?
As of today, I have no idea. It could have been released from evidence or not.
So if it was important enough to catalog, should it have been preserved?
Depends on Detective Houston what he thought. I didn't take over this case at that when this stuff should have all been gathered up. If he decided to gather up, he could have been like, okay, let's take a picture, but we don't need to put in evidence because it's neither here nor there. That's his call.
Well, when you realized that there was another vehicle, the black SUV, that might have been involved, you realized that at some point, right?
Yes.
Mr. Erickson's vehicle belonged to Miss Grossman's vehicle.
No.
And that's because you automatically assumed that that debris belonged to Miss Grossman's vehicle.
I
True?
wouldn't necessarily say that. I'm just based on the statements, witness statements, and the physical evidence. Mrs. Grossman's vehicle hit both of those boys and not another vehicle.
And you didn't need to investigate the involvement of other vehicles because you had already arrived at the conclusion that it was Miss Grossman's vehicle involved only, correct?
That collided into the two boys, as far as that part of the investigation.
So do you know what happened to the chrome fog lamp cover?
Right now, I have no idea.
Is that something that you would have expected to have been preserved?
Could have been preserved.
Let's go to Exhibit 153-1. What are we looking at here?
At the very top left, it says factual diagram.
Are you able to determine on this diagram the location of where any of the items were found?
You'd have to zoom in. It's not good quality right here.
Understood.
Yeah, just based on all the little circles with the lines going through them. Each has an E/1, E/2, all point to evidence and their
Okay.
locations.
Are you able to see where item number 7 was on that?
Yes,
And where would you describe that to be?
I would describe that to be midway on the photo you're showing me.
Okay, and so if we put a little marker on that. So would you agree with me, Detective, that item number 7, the chrome fog lamp cover, was found between the number 1 and number 2 lane? I can't tell if that's, which direction that's actually going. Actually, that's going the other way. So that would, well, be between the 1 and the 2.
Yeah, that is located in between the number 1 and number 2 lane.
Okay, and how far from the crosswalk would you estimate that might be?
Based on that picture, I don't know what the measurements are to that.
All right, thank you. All right, I'd like to ask some questions about the, actually, one more thing on the investigation. There were a lot of different people working on the investigation at different times, correct?
Correct.
So, for example, we heard from Officer Mejia, and he was marking evidence, and he mentioned that Officer Westling was taking measurements. Does that sound familiar with your understanding?
Yes.
Okay. And would it be important that the officers work together and exchange information with each other so that they all have correct information? They check each other, checks and balances?
If they are working on the same thing.
Okay.
Depends what.
So if 2 people are marking evidence, for example, and one is also taking pictures, would it be important that they communicate with each other about that?
It might be.
Okay. And so if Officer Westling and Officer Mejia didn't communicate with each other about the measurements that they were taking and the evidence that they were marking, that would not be really appropriate, correct?
Again, it depends what they're doing. What CSA Westling is doing might not be the same. They might be taking care of the same issue, but Westling's thing might be different than what he is doing, but they're still working together in some aspect.
And if they're doing the same thing, working together, they should communicate, right?
If they need to, yes.
And if they don't communicate, there may be some misunderstanding about the results, correct?
That could happen with anything.
All right, let's talk about the sobriety testing. You're aware that Michael Kelly, and I apologize, I don't know, is he a deputy?
All of us are deputies except
All
for
dep-
Westling.
Okay. Deputy Michael Kelly performed the sobriety testing, correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
And who is Detective Takis?
I'm sorry?
I might be pronouncing it wrong. Takas? Takacs?
Never heard of that name.
Okay. Do you know who Michael Kelly's supervisor was?
At that time, it would have been any of the line sergeants at Lost Hill Station. He was assigned to patrol, not traffic or anything like that. So his direct supervisor would be any of the maybe 10 to 12 sergeants that were working that shift that night.
Okay. Were you aware from reading the various reports in the file that there was some criticisms as to the way Detective Kelly did the sobriety testing?
That there was,
Criticisms
by who?
by his supervisor.
I was unaware of that until now.
So, you assumed, you read the reports and you assumed that Ms. Grossman was impaired because of the sobriety testing, right?
It's a portion of it, but not my ultimate opinion.
And if the sobriety testing was not done entirely properly, that could affect your opinion on that, right? Just if you looking only at the sobriety testing.
Well, driving on influence is more than just one little section. It's a culmination of a lot of things. So I
Understood.
wouldn't base it off just one little thing.
Okay, but that one little thing, the sobriety testing, was part of the totality of what you evaluated and determined that Ms. Grossman was intoxicated, true?
It was what Sergeant, or what Deputy Kelly's superior felt, because they signed off on the report saying that she was intoxicated.
And because they signed off on the report, you accepted that as being true, right?
For the most part, yes, because they're a sergeant and I was not.
Because you didn't do the testing yourself, right?
No, I did not.
You know how to do sobriety testing, right?
I do.
So, let's talk about your investigation into the drinking. I know you testified yesterday that you actually went over to Julio's to get the receipt and to speak with the waitress. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. Let's put up Exhibit 194-2, please. Detective, you recognize this is the receipt. This is the receipt that you received from Julio's, is that correct?
Yes.
And this was the receipt that you were told related to Mr. Erickson, Ms. Grossman, and Royce Clayton's time at Julio's on the night of the incident, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So if we look at the top of the receipt, you can see that this receipt says it's for 4 guests. You see that?
That's what it says.
Are you aware of that there was another person there?
I am unaware of that.
Okay, so if it was just the 3 of them, then that receipt wouldn't be accurate, would it?
Well, it's not accurate regardless of just it saying 4 guests. There's also another problem with that receipt.
Right, and I was going to ask you about that. The time is wrong, isn't it?
On that receipt, yes it is.
I mean, it's not possible that this receipt could have been paid for at 7:16 p.m. if it was the receipt that Mr. Erickson paid before the accident, correct?
I'm sorry, ask that question again?
Sure. This receipt indicates that it was paid at 7:16 p.m., correct?
That's what the receipt says, yes.
Yeah, and the accident was at 7:09, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
So if this receipt was paid after the accident, this couldn't be the receipt that relates to this event at Julio's between Mr. Erickson and Ms. Grossman, could it?
If the 7:16 is indicating that's when it was paid, and and assuming that the time is even correct on where this receipt came from.
So the time's incorrect and the number of guests is incorrect, right?
According to this receipt, yes.
And yet this is the receipt that you relied on to determine that Ms. Grossman had a margarita,
An
right?
objection, there's multiple pages to this exhibit, not just this page.
Am I correct, sir?
Objections overruled.
I'm sorry, ask that again.
Sure. This is the receipt that you relied on to say that Ms. Grossman had a margarita, correct?
It's a part of the evidence. It says that she may have been there, but that just didn't go by the receipt. We have statements from the people who actually worked there and saw her.
So when you're conducting an investigation, there are a lot of people that have to do things to help with that investigation, right?
There can be.
And you have to rely on the work that the other people do as being accurate, right?
Sometimes.
And sometimes things are not accurate that are done by the people who are helping you with the investigation, right?
Sometimes.
And when that happens, that can mean that your result is not accurate because you relied on information that was not accurate. True?
It can.
Now, with regard to the margarita, you do not know how much of that margarita Ms. Grossman consumed. Isn't that true?
I do not know. I was not there.
Yeah. You weren't there, and even if you were to assume the glass was empty, unless you saw her drink it, you couldn't confirm that she had drank it, correct?
Jake, never mind.
No, I was not there.
Now, this receipt makes no mention of food, but you thought maybe there were chips there. In this restaurant, was this a restaurant that provided chips along with drinks?
That I don't know. I was just more of a personal thing. I go to a lot of Mexican restaurants that usually hand out chips and salsa, so
Right.
just assumed on that one.
It's kind of almost standard, right?
Yeah, or I wouldn't go to one of those.
Okay. And if there were chips on the table, then it would be reasonable to assume that people were consuming those chips.
The speculation relevance.
Stay.
All right, I want to ask you about, Mr. Panish asked you this hypothetical question that had a lot of parts to it. So I want to ask you a little bit about that. He asked you to assume that Ms. Grossman was racing and that was supported by the EDR. And I think your answer to that was it depends. That's your answer, correct?
If that's what I said, then yes.
Now, the EDR, if it's accurate and reliable, would only relate to the vehicle that Ms. Grossman was driving, correct?
Yes.
It wouldn't tell you what other people's vehicles were doing, would it?
Not necessarily, no.
So the EDR could not support racing between vehicles, correct?
The EDR by itself?
Yes.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
It doesn't include, EDR does not include interactions with other vehicles, true?
True.
Now, you were also asked to assume that someone, and I think counsel said something about a 60-year-old woman. By the way, it's okay for 60-year-old women to drive good cars, right?
No relevance.
Sustained.
All right. You were asked about, to assume somebody was driving a Mercedes SUV AMG built for speed. You recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And that person had been trained and attended classes at Laguna Seca on how to drive over 100 miles an hour. You recall that?
I recall that.
Okay. So let's stop there and let's look at that hypothetical. First of all, are you familiar with the fact that Mercedes offers safety classes to people who purchase those vehicles?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you don't have any problem with someone who purchases a vehicle and then takes a safety class to learn how to drive that vehicle and control it, correct?
No.
You're not critical of Ms. Grossman for taking a safety class on driving, correct?
If she had taken
Foundation that she took such a class. He doesn't know that. Or
I'd have no problem with that.
Now, and then the fact that the AMG is taken out on a racetrack with supervision and protective gears, helmet and all that, and the driver learns how to control the vehicle at high speeds on a racetrack. You don't have a problem with that, do you?
Personally, no.
Because race car driving is a sport, isn't it?
what?
Race car driving is a sport.
And so many people partake in race car driving on racetracks, right?
This is relevance.
Sustained.
Well, you don't have any problem with Ms. Grossman taking the car out on a racetrack, correct?
No.
And again, you were asked about, to assume the driver was impaired and under the influence of alcohol. If the sobriety testing was not properly done, you would not automatically assume that she was impaired, correct?
It's compound is the way it's asked.
It's important to look at all the evidence when you're coming up with conclusions, correct?
Yes.
And sometimes the evidence that's provided may not be accurate, right?
May not be.
And to determine if someone's under the influence, you have to have some objective basis for that, don't you?
To figure out if they're under the influence?
Yeah, if to determine if someone is under the influence, if you're just doing a sobriety testing, shouldn't there be some objective evidence of that?
Yes.
Okay. And if the objective evidence doesn't show that, let me strike that, if the sobriety testing doesn't show that there is objective evidence, then you would need more than that to assume that someone's intoxicated. True?
Not necessarily.
Did you watch the video of the sobriety testing?
Oh, a long time ago, yes.
Okay, all right. Can you tell the jury anything, any one thing that you saw, in your opinion, when you saw the sobriety testing, that you thought showed she was impaired?
That she was impaired?
Yes.
Again, I'd have to refer back to the video. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
You were asked to assume that the driver attempted to flee. You recall that?
Yes.
When Miss Grossman's airbag went off, are you aware what happened inside the car?
Yes.
Did the car call an emergency service, like an OnStar type of system?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And that happens right away, right?
According to my investigation, it usually happens right away if they have that service.
Yeah. And when that happens, then the driver of the car is on the phone, so to speak. I don't know, it's not a phone, but they're on a system communicating with an operator, correct?
That is correct.
And then the call is transferred to 911, and 911 is then communicating with the driver, correct?
Depending on the system. I don't know if it happened in this case.
Okay. Did you listen to any of the audio with regard to the when the car was connected with the 911 operator?
A long time ago.
Okay. Did you hear anything in the audio that suggested that Miss Grossman was trying to drive away?
I don't recall.
And of course, you're aware that as soon as the airbag went off, the fuel stopped coming into the vehicle, correct?
Correct.
No further questions, thank you. just go back to the hillside video. I think it's 6 or 7. Okay.
Which one?
Which one is it? So,
Thank you. Andy, what's your... That's okay. Traffic. All right. This was a recording that you made, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if we hear a voice on that, which we're not playing at the moment, it would be your voice?
Maybe mine or Sergeant Kelly's,
Okay.
or the homeowner.
Was the homeowner talking as well?
Him and Sergeant Kelly were speaking to each other, I believe. And I think the wife was also there.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.